Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joya and this is J-Bay, my small piece of the internet where I get to share the real, the raw, and the reality surrounding fibroids, family, fitness, and anything else I think you should know. So today we're going to focus in on my top tips for wedding planning. So before we get into that, let me give you just a little bit of my background with wedding planning. So I got engaged November 2018, and we were planning for a May 2020 wedding. So I was so excited. I wanted to do most of the work myself. Even though we hired a wedding planner, I made sure she knew I wanted to be very much involved with just about every aspect of this wedding, because organizing and planning are things that I personally enjoy, but I knew she had the experience with this particular thing, weddings, right? So we worked together beautifully, an excellent planner in Houston. I can link her below if anybody is interested. But everything was going so smoothly, y'all. It was not even the least bit of worrisome. I mean, things were just falling into place, right? So in February 2020, my girls took me on a bachelorette trip. Best trip ever. They did that. We went to Cancun and we had a time. You hear me? We had a time. So at this point, we're all still excited. We can't wait till May that we can get together again and enjoy my nuptials. So we got home from Mexico and then bam, COVID in the United States. Y'all, at this point, it was very much like, oh, you know, it's only one person in Washington or one person in Illinois. It was very like, this isn't a real thing that's about to affect us, right? So as we're inching closer and closer to May, we're starting to see we were wrong. This is a thing. So the closer we got to May, probably around March, we sat down with our planner and we made the decision to postpone our celebration. So I really wanted to keep our actual wedding date. So my husband and I got dressed and we got married in our living room, isolated. So we had everybody on Zoom. We were actually featured in a bridal magazine for being one of the first kind of Zoom weddings. So we got everybody on Zoom, our ministers, AKA our daddies. And we got married standing in our living room, and we had decided to have our actual big celebration in February 2021, because of course by then COVID should be a thing of the past. So by this point, everything was pretty much planned. All we had to do was make sure our venue could accommodate us moving the date, and they could. So at this point, we're just kind of chilling out, waiting for the big day. So then we get around maybe November, December 2020, and it's like COVID is getting worse. Like people are still getting very, very sick. People are dying. And even though the world was kind of opening back up, it was not getting better, right? So we made the decision, I believe in December, that maybe December, January, that we were just going to cancel to give people the opportunity to get any money they may have put down on travel and things of that nature. So we decided we were just going to cancel. And maybe years down the line, have like a renewal ceremony and invite all our family and friends. So anyway, tidbit, had we decided not to cancel, we were going to have our celebration the weekend of February 19th, 2021 in Houston. And guess what? They had an ice storm that weekend. So even if we decided to not cancel and go forth, we would have had to cancel at the last minute, which would have caused probably a lot of more issues for us and for our guests. So God knows best, and listen to your instincts, obey your gut, all right? So anyway, even though I didn't have the wedding that I planned, I'm still very excited to be married, because the thing is, it's really not about the wedding, it's about the marriage. And standing there in my living room with my fiance turned husband, I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else in that moment. But I didn't get that wedding. However, I did learn a lot in the planning process. And I'm going to share some of my top tips with you so that as you are planning your wedding or helping your friend or daughter or sister, whoever planned their wedding, I think these things will help assist you in making things go smoothly and not be nearly as overwhelming. All right, let's get started. Okay, so tip number one, before you get into any kind of details for your wedding planning, please lay a solid foundation. This will make this whole process so much easier for you. So you want to start off with a budget and stick to your budget, okay? Do your research, figure out some of the things that you're interested in. However, start off with the number. Y'all, your budget can be anywhere from $0. I'm gonna go, whatever it costs to do the signature at the courthouse, to $1 million. Whatever it is that you want to spend, that's what you want to spend. So get with your partner and figure out how much money you're willing to spend. Know that things, go up and down depending on how far out your date is, but you need to have a number that this is the number. You might go over a couple $100, but we want to stay as close to this number as possible. Another thing with your budget, don't let anybody else determine how you should feel about your budget. I hear so many people saying, oh, it's such a waste of money to spend $50,000 on a wedding. That's stupid. It's a party for other people. And that's their feeling and opinion, and that's fine. But this is your day. This is your wedding. If you want to spend $50K, $60K, $100K, baby, that's your business, and you can do that. But just know that money don't grow on trees, okay? We stuck to our budget pretty good. We were very, very close to the number that we set. And when things did not go as planned, we got a good bit of that money back. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about that toward the end of the video. But we got a good bit of our money back and we put it down on a house. So in hindsight, I do think that money can be better spent. But if you want to spend it on your special day and you feel this is your first and last wedding and you would never spend this kind of money on one day again, girl, go for it, okay? Number two, your guest list. So figure out if this is going to be a day with just you and your partner, 2 people, or if it's going to be a day where you invite 500 of your closest friends. This also comes down to your budget. If your budget is a certain number, $30,000, you might not be able to afford to invite 500 of your closest friends, okay? So the budget sets the tone for everything else on this list. But get with your partner, figure out how many people you want to share this special day with. Is it just your immediate friend? Is it just your immediate family? Or is it Susie from the 3rd grade that let you eat her little pecan pie one time, okay? So let's figure out how many people that we're gonna invite to this wedding. Something that I did that I thought was very helpful was I made lists, A, B, and C list. A, our parents, our siblings, our aunts, our uncles, right? B, some of our second cousins and some of our close friends from college. C, people that we've met in different places, maybe our neighbors and things like that. But it was a automatically invited list. If some of these people can't come and we still have space, B. And then once we get down to the RSVPs and we still have 50 plates that we're willing to share with people, then we went to our C list. But I thought organizing it this way just made it much, much easier. Something else with your guest list, figure out the split, right? Say you're gonna invite 200 people. Is it 50-50? You invite 100, your future spouse invites 100, or is it, 70-30? Because you might have more family and friends, just get with your partner and figure that out. Because what you don't want to happen is you come together and you got 150 and they got 150, but y'all said 100 people. So, when it comes down to cutting your list down, it can get a little emotional, and we want to make this process as easy as possible. So be honest, speak with your partner, and do what makes sense for the 2 of you. Another part of laying your foundation is setting a realistic timeline. So choose your date, right? If your date is 12 months from now, sit down and set out a timeline, right? So by this date, we want to have our guest list locked down. By this date, we want to have seen our venues and have chosen one. By this date, we want to have all of our other vendors hired, right? All of our contracts signed. So sit down, create a timeline. Yes, things might get a little bit off here and there, but you want to do your best to create your timeline so that when it comes to the week of your wedding, you're not scrambling and, oh, I forgot about this. Oh, did you do that? You know that everything is the way it's supposed to be by the date that you set. All right? Okay, so now we have our foundation laid, we have our budget set, we have a timeline, and we have our guest list, at least the number of people that we plan to invite. So let's move on to tip number 2, the venue. This is the space that's gonna be in your memories forever. So it's really an important decision of where you say I do. Is it the place that you've been dreaming of since you were a little girl? Or is it the park that you just saw yesterday on your ride home from work? Just figure out what fits your aesthetic, figure out what fits your budget, and go make a list of all those types of places. Is it your backyard? Do you just want to have a barbecue with your friends? Is it an underwater atrium in Hawaii where it might cost $90,000 just to rent out the venue? Figure out what makes sense for you and your partner and your budget, and start from there, okay? Once you make your list, go see the venues. Do not trust the pictures on the website. Do not trust the pictures on the website. Y'all, just like for your Instagram, when you have somebody on the ground getting your pictures, catching your angles, they doing the same thing. They're getting a photographer. They're going to make the space look bigger and brighter and more vibrant and the food look more delicious. They're going to make sure they capture you because they want you to rent out the space, right? So they're going to give you the best representation on their website or on Google. So it's your responsibility to go to the venues and see it for yourself. What you don't want to happen is, oh man, this place looks great. It has 5 out of 5 stars on Google. Great, book it, fits the budget, we in there. And then you get there and you're like, oh baby, somebody owe me some coin. I need my money back, okay? No, you need to go see it in person, up front, and make sure that it is what it is, all right? Other thing, visit multiple venues. Don't just find one and think good is good enough. Go see several places. You want to compare their offerings, their amenities, their pricing. You want to take note of the capacity. How many people does it hold? Can it even fit your guest list number, right? Are people going to be scrunched up, can't even eat because you can't raise the elbows because your chair is so close, trying to fit in a certain number of people at a table? It's the location. Does it feel safe to you? Do you think your guests are going to feel safe leaving their cars in this parking lot for 4 hours? These are all things to think about when you're looking at your venue. All right. Tip number 3, your vendors. Who am I talking about? Your photographer, your videographer, your caterer, your DJ, your band, your hairdresser, your makeup artist, your dressmaker. Anybody who's doing a service for you is one of your vendors. Do your research. Y'all, I was on Google every day for weeks looking for reviews, asking family and friends in that area who's the best, who have they used, who have their friend used, send me their portfolios, send me their websites. Y'all, these are very important decisions because 1, these people are not cheap, and 2, this is your wedding. This is your day. You want things to be special. You want things to be as perfect as possible for you. So you want to make sure that you're hiring people that are reputable, people that are reliable, and people that are worth the coin that they're going to be charging. Do some run-throughs with people, particularly ladies, your makeup artist and your hairdresser. I went to my makeup artist and my hairdresser that I planned on hiring months before my big day, and I basically sat there and said, let's pretend this is the day of my wedding. Do my makeup and my hair the way that we've discussed for my wedding. They did so, and then you know what I did? I went outside, I took photos. Y'all, you ever seen people get their makeup done and then they take photos in a certain light and they have, real bright spots under here? We don't want that, okay? Go out, take photos in the type of light that you'll be using for your wedding. If it's a daytime wedding, go outside in the sunlight and take your your pictures. If it's a nighttime wedding, put a flash on, get a ring light. Do all the things to make sure that your face is giving face with this makeup artist, okay? Get your hair done and then go to a party, go to a club, a lounge. How are things working with sweat, okay? Is your lashes coming off? Is your mascara running? Cry. Do the things that you think you're going to do the day of your wedding and see how your hair and your makeup hold up, because when it comes to a reception, we like to dance, baby. We like to get down with our bad selves. This is our party. Everybody here is here for you. So you want to have as much fun as possible with your new man, your new woman, whoever you got married to, and you want to enjoy yourself. You don't want to be worried about what you're looking like, because you want people to, you're going to be fly all night long, okay? You want your makeup to stay where she put it, or he. You want your hair not to be falling all over the place. You want to look good for your 5 o'clock pictures and for your midnight pictures when people are saying good night. So you want to make sure that everything is the way that it's supposed to be. All right. So get out there, do some run-throughs with everybody. We actually did our engagement photos with our wedding photographer because, baby, I wanted to see what you do. How do you do? How do you direct? You know, are you telling me to look into the lights? Are you telling me to gaze into my husband's eyes? Like, come on, give me some direction, because we might want to switch it up. If our engagement photos were just we might have hired somebody else for the wedding, okay? So do some run-throughs. Figure it out before that time. Another thing with your vendors, get everything in writing, okay? You don't want no questions asked. What happens if we cancel 6 months in advance? What happens if we have to cancel 2 days in advance? What happens if the weather causes us to cancel versus a personal decision? What happens if you go out of business or you stop doing the work before my wedding day? Ask all the questions and get all the answers in writing. Make sure that you understand the contract. Make sure that they understand your expectations, and make sure it is a mutually agreed upon agreement. Okay, let's move on. This next tip is very important for me because, baby, we're gonna talk about the grub, food and drinks. Figure out if your chosen venue offers food and drinks. Do they have their own in-house caterer? Do you have to hire your own caterer? Do you have to have a cash bar? Is open bar an opportunity? Do you have to pay up front a certain deposit? Ask the questions, but more importantly, taste the food, okay? We had a tasting months before our event at our venue, because our venue did have in-house catering. They did not allow outside food, which is something that a lot of businesses do. They don't let you bring in any food from the outside. But anyway, well, I said, well, if you're gonna force me to eat your food, I need to make sure your food is good. Y'all, when I tell you, they laid it out for us. Like, I was expecting to get, some little samples, right? No, ma'am, Pam. We were full, okay? And a little bit tipsy, because they gave us a little something to drink as well. Taste it. See what you want it to be. Is it too spicy? Do you think your guests are gonna have heartburn after eating this? Is it nasty? I mean, ask the questions, taste the food, figure out if it meets your expectations, because you might have to change your entire venue if they only let you have their food. Because one thing you don't want is people leaving your wedding and telling the whole world how, oh, it was a good time, but girl, I'm hungry. That food was nasty. Can we stop at Mickey D's on the way home? No. Not for my day, okay? So make sure the food is acceptable. Make sure that you know the process with the drinks. If you're planning on serving alcoholic beverages, if it's a cash bar, relay that message to your guests before they get there. And just make sure you're very upfront with what's going on. A lot of people will put somewhere in their information packet that there be an open bar or a cash bar or an open bar to 8 p.m. Sometimes there's a certain time, and after that cutoff, it turns into a cash bar. But whatever it is, just make sure you understand the food and drink situation. All right, I think we're on tip number 5, and that is entertainment. Hey, what's your vibe? Do you want a DJ on the ones and twos playing all your jams? Do you want a live band with kind of a groove going on, playing some old school 90s R&B? Do you want a harpist giving you the vibe? Okay, just figure out what you and your partner, what's the vibe? What y'all going for, okay? Again, with your entertainment, make sure you have signed contracts. Ask them questions. Is it an hourly pay? What happens if we go over the allotted time? Mr. DJ, you say we good till 11 p.m. Well, what if we getting lit? The venue say we got another hour. Is it a particular amount for this extra hour? Or is it a whole new fee? You know, ask the questions, y'all. Don't be shy when it comes to your money, okay? Ask them, do they request or require food? I've seen where some vendors are looking for their plate, even though they own the clock. So you need to know that, because that's also a number in your guest list number if you have to feed them. Do they accept tips? You don't want to be on the dance floor and look to your left and your band got a little tip jar and people looking at you like, am I supposed to be dropping dollars in for the band that you are paying already? So make sure they understand the expectations. Make sure you have given them a list for what you expect them to play. Maybe the first hour you want smooth jazz, and then the next hour you want R&B, and then we turning up at 10 p.m. So whatever the case is, make sure that you understand them, they understand you, and you have an agreement that makes sense for you on your special day. All right, so my last big tip, and this is the one that saved us, okay? Get wedding insurance. So we didn't even know this was a thing. When we first visited our venue that we chose, the spokesperson or the person that was over their half of things talked to us about wedding insurance, because they were like, if you get wedding insurance, you get a certain percent off the total price. So I looked into it, y'all, it was cheap. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was so cheap. And if you're interested, let me know in the comments and I can give you the link that we use for our wedding insurance. But basically it says that if you have to cancel your wedding for anything except y'all just broke up, right? You can't just break up and think you're gonna get your money back. But anything else that happens, like weather, COVID, that kind of thing, you get a certain amount of your money back. We got somewhere between 80 and 90% of all the money we spent on our wedding. And that's how we were able to put it down on a house instead. Y'all, that wedding insurance was everything. It was so easy to get. The process was easy as 1, 2, 3, but the return was off the chain. We basically told them, hey, y'all saw the world. COVID happened and we weren't able to have our day. What do we need to do? It was all email. I don't even think we had to talk to anybody, because y'all know, like talking on the phone for real. But I'm pretty sure most of the communication, if not all of it, was through email. And they asked for receipts, right? Some of our contracts and our receipts. And it was a very short turnaround that we were able to get a check for, it was somewhere between 80 and 90% of what we had spent. We were even able to get money back on like my husband's shirt from Neiman, okay? Like whatever you spent money on, it was eligible to be returned to you. So please get wedding insurance. Again, if you're interested in the company we use, let me know. I will link it down below, or let me know in the comments and I will tell you directly. But y'all, this is not a game. This is a non-negotiable. Go get wedding insurance. Okay, so that's all the tips I have for you today. But before I let you go, I want to just talk about a few things to ensure a stress-free wedding day. Okay, so we've made it all the way up to our wedding day and we want things to go as smoothly as possible. So a couple of things that I want to urge you to do. Number one is to delegate tasks. Girl, you shouldn't be doing anything the day of your wedding but being excited, sipping on champagne and getting ready to see your partner at the altar. Delegate all that other stuff, all that day of stuff. Assign specific tasks to your wedding planner, to your family members, your maid of honor, your bridesmaids, whatever it is, it should not be you. So when coordinating with your vendors, managing your timeline, any of that stuff, it's not your responsibility. Please don't be afraid to delegate to the people around you that are already willing to assist you on your special day. The other thing is to take a moment for yourself. Planning a wedding can be a little bit overwhelming, but at the end of the day, this is something that's very important to you, to your partner. You've probably had so many ups and downs in this process, maybe even some arguments. But at the end of the day, it's day up, baby. It's game time. It's go time. Let's get through this. Let's get to this. And let's start our beautiful marriage, our beautiful life together. So just take some time to relax and to meditate and to pray and to thank God for all of his blessings up to this day and to ask him to continue to bless your marriage from this day forward. Y'all, do what makes you happy on this day. Relax, have a good time, but most important, please do not stress out. It's literally one day of your life, although some may see it as one of the most important days, but it's not worth being stressed out. You have to enjoy the moment, enjoy yourself, but most of all, enjoy your partner. So I hope you guys have learned a little something or learned a lot in this video. If you like what you've heard, please like, comment, and or subscribe, and go tell your sister-in-law's baby cousin Tracy to come over here and do it as well. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.